What's up, guys? Back in the kitchen. I have something for you, okay? So I was thinking about it, like for GameStop. I went in there today and I picked up my cards, my PSA graded cards, and they had value on them, a lot of value. And I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, wait a minute. That makes total sense. You know, they've gone up. The market for Pokemon cards has gone up in value every year. You know, and certainly this year, they hit a boom, and the card I just traded in was worth $50. And then not that I traded it, I went and got graded, was worth $50. While it was getting graded, it went from 180 for a PSA 10 all the way to 290, almost $300. And I was like, whoa, man, like it went up in value, 50%, 60%, whatever it may be now from the raw time to the graded time. The more years that GameStop's in this ecosystem of collectibles, the more grading, the more purchasing product, the more sending it out, the more trading it back in. What that's going to do for the bottom line of GameStop, it's going to drive revenue through the roof, okay? It's going to take your actual revenue number, the top side of it, and go crazy. And this in retail is something that happens quite often. And the way you measure it, you can't just go, hey, you know what? We had an increase in sales. That's not how it usually works. It usually works like in the case of like a meat department type style, you would do poundage. You would do how many pounds did I sell? And in this case, in units, you would say units. I want an increase in units, not dollars. And that's an interior thing. You don't know that what it is for you personally. But if GameStop can have an increase in units and dollars, well, now you have the recipe for growth. If you just have an increase in units, if you just have an increase in dollars, well, then your margins go up, and that looks awesome too. But that's not what the company is officially. I'm just letting you know now that narrative that was said about GameStop like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where the revenue was stagnant and it wasn't growing. It's because of the categories that they were selling. They weren't selling things that had increases. So when you have a decrease in buildings, then you would have a decrease in top line, right? But that's not always the truth when you switch categories. And now that I've gone into enough GameStops over the last 2 years to see the transition to collectibles and graded cards, you're going to see an increase in revenue. The amount of cards they hang on to, the value of that inventory appreciates. And as it appreciates, yes, the value of your assets go up. I get that, GameStop. But it's when you sell it. When you sell those assets, now the true value comes out. That's why there's like these hidden margins within the company, even today. And this is all going to play out in real time. I know that they've elevated their shipping costs, they've elevated their grading costs, and then the products they're selling are more top tier. But let this be a lesson for you that my PSA graded card, the one that I just got graded, was once worth $50 a year ago, is now worth $300. That's 6x. This is going to happen on multiple levels for GameStop. And they're going to keep selling the products. And whether those products, this is what a lot of people don't understand too about products, about inventory on collectibles, is they don't depreciate. It's not like, hey, there's a box there of cards that didn't sell from 2 years ago. We have to mark it down and clearance it out. You don't ever have to put a clearance price on it, because eventually someone will come around to it. You don't have to keep ordering because they're out of print. Once the cards go out of print, after about a year or two, now it's a real collectible. Now it's like, hey, this box of cards that used to sell for $30 is an out of print box. Now it's going to sell for $40. It's going to sell for $50. So the margins increase even more. The longer you're willing to hold it, and the fact that they're so small, this inventory is so tiny, you could never really stack the shelf and be out to lunch on it. So I think the margins are going up on GameStop. I think the overall revenue will continue to go up because I think that most people are adopting the buy the cards, grade them, and give value for them more so than ever. It would be one thing just to be a card shop and sell cards and then they leave. No, you're giving them a reason to come back and come back and come back and have a membership. And there's a lot of dollars that are being spent there. I was there today. I saw people just hanging out and looking at things and buying whatever they could because they had $5 off for the month. A lot of things like that. So very excited for GameStop. I'm excited for you guys as shareholders. But if you understand retail 101, play this out as long as you can, guys. I just think that the ones that sell on the next run up, the ones that sell at the $50 level, the ones that sell at the $100 level, I think they're going to miss out on what this company could be. And if the market fares out the way I think it is, right now, I'll just give you this example, what I mean by that, because I talked about this on the live. And if you missed it, let me rephrase it for you. You're dealing with a market right now that is severely overvalued, like to the point of no return, like NVIDIA and all the AI bubble itself, and then the commitments from companies. And I think I saw Oracle just get dug down right now in the after hours like crazy because of one contract it fell through or whatever it may be. Contracts are going to fall through. Commitments from companies are going to be devalued, and they've actually been given value for them already. But we saw this happen with Enron, where they started, they do mark-to-market accounting, where they count all these contracts up front, and they never receive a payment for them. And then you go, whoa, wait a minute. It happened with Blockbuster, believe it or not. So, anyway, I'm sorry, my nose is running. But no edits, no cuts. You know how I do this video. Anyway, the market is extremely overvalued. And people are going to get into this crypto winter style where people are going to lose their collateral from the crypto, but the swap itself must be, the GameStop swap must be tied to the S&P Mag 7. I mean, it has to at this point, because from January 28th of 2021, I've only seen the whole stock market go crazy. And it's like they reshuffled the deck. And I said, okay, well, what happens when they're all upside down? What happens when people like really pull their money out of this market? Because it's going to happen. And you're going to find yourself at the bottom, and GameStop's going to be bigger than ever, because it's one thing to lose your collateral, but imagine if you're losing your collateral against GameStop, where GameStop has $11 billion and they deploy the cash. Now GameStop even gets bigger. Now it's a bigger problem compared to you just thinking, hey, I just have to be the leverage on the other side. GameStop used to be this big, and I was this big. Now GameStop's this big, and it's like, how are you ever going to hold that back? You just can't. And at some point, this explodes and goes crazy because you have to buy back in, and you make it bigger than what it could ever have been. And I'm looking at $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a share, and people are looking at me like I'm crazy, right? Like, Marantz, what do you mean? And I'm like, what do you mean? Because when it happened for Volkswagen, guys, Volkswagen became the world's most valuable company, even for a day. It didn't matter. And if that were the case, that's not even close to what GameStop is today. They've been building leverage against GameStop for 5 years. And if you didn't believe it, it doesn't move natural. You guys have all been invested with numerous companies. I don't care if it is Costco, Carvana, you name it, Palantir, NVIDIA. Wouldn't matter. Look at how those companies move whenever they have excitement, whenever they have cash coming in. And the earnings for GameStop went from losing $500 million a year. They now make $500 million a year. Like, that's a swing profit of $1 billion. And no one's giving them value for it. None at all. All while having zero cash burn, while having great leadership, new revenue streams, you name it. Social sentiment is sky high. No one talks about it but us. So, I would used to tell myself, when we get into the 200s, maybe even 350, then maybe I sell 10 shares a month or something. I sell some shares. And the truth is, I'm just going to keep buying right now. I'm at the point where it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that this whole world is valued the way they are. The S&P has a PE ratio of 31. And if people don't know how ridiculous that is, there's industries within the S&P that should never be in the 30s. I mean, for the average to be that, and you have a company like Palantir at 500, can you imagine? No. So I think GameStop's going to be great. I think it's going places. I think you're going places. I think all the warrants have been delivered, except for, who was it? Is it TD Ameritrade? Was it that who it was? I couldn't remember who. I don't know who it was. Not eToro, but somebody out there. E-Trade. E-Trade didn't have any of the warrants delivered yet. I got my warrants delivered. But, let's see how it all plays out tomorrow. I just wanted to make a video for you guys so you guys know what's going on with retail and how it grows and how it shows. But, I'm living a good life. I'm going to tick off, guys. I'm going to go do the dishes. You see, you guys got the real shit? I got the real sriracha, bro. The one with the rooster. This is good shit right here. Anyway, Love you guys. GameStop, can't stop, won't stop. GameStop. I'm going to see you around, millionaires. Peace.